program and the educational opportunity. This program has been going on for over a dozen years in Massachusetts and here in Douglas. And it has been proven, it's been reviewed by educators and public safety professionals and others, but has been proven to save lives. And Chief Vinson was telling me that the fire marshal has told us that in the last year, no child died as a result of a fire in their home in Massachusetts. So this is really an outstanding record, largely due to the learning that the young people here in the auditorium and previous classes over the years have learned from the techniques that they're taught as part of the SAFE program. So it's one that, and I know in Douglas, it was a few years ago, there was actually a situation where a young person who was in the program realized that there was a health emergency at home and knew to call 911 and to get help and actually saved his mother's life. So it is something that we know from personal experience here in Douglas that works. We know from the statistics that we see reported from all communities that offer the program. Not every community has the program, although they're entitled to it. But not every community, the fire department isn't available or isn't aware, ready to participate. And you're lucky in Douglas to have a dedicated chief, Chief Vinson, who actually came up with the program. He's been involved in it personally as running it until he got the big job of chief. And now has somebody he can appoint to do that. But it's one that has worked here and one that we're so proud of that it's a very small investment of state taxpayers' money. Perhaps a bigger investment at the time of the fire department and the teachers who help out in working with their students. But certainly one that has paid back in dividends and lives saved and emergencies diverted because the young people who learned their skills in this program have done such an outstanding job, and it's very possible that there's someone in this audience today that over the next year or two or three or whatever will have the opportunity to learn some of the skills, to use some of the skills that they learned here in this program. So I want to congratulate all the students who participated for what they learned and what they hopefully will have the opportunity to use at some point in the years to come. So with that, congratulations, and I will. Who am I passing this off to? I guess I'm passing it off to our Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, Senator Moore. Now I'd like to introduce you to our Douglas Fire Chief, Chief Vinson.
Well, here we are again. This program started in Douglas in the year 2000 when we first had a full-time fire department here in Douglas. And I had the honor of doing that program for the first time and doing it many years after that. And it truly has been a rewarding experience to actually see children put the things that they learned in the SAFE program into action and actually save lives and keep their family away from harm. And there are some very serious things that we teach the kids. Going back a few years, I'm not sure if I'm dating myself, but back in the late 80s, there was a show called In Living Color. And there was a character that was on that program called Fire Marshal Bill. Fire Marshal Bill, Fire Marshal Kent, the fire department. Oftentimes it's a lonely road, and people think, what's the problem? There's no problem. But we've seen firsthand the tragedy that fires can bring, health emergencies. We've seen people perish. And so we stand committed to making sure that our children, at least here in Douglas, and hopefully statewide, are actually safe. And back in 1995, the SAFE program was instituted in Massachusetts. And the whole goal was to raise a fire-safe generation. But we feel at this point, Douglas has had one of the young heroes be recognized at the State House, and no doubt will probably have that circumstance happen in the future as well. So we know the program works. We know that we've saved a fire-safe generation, or we've created one. As Senator Moore brought out, there was no child that perished as a result of a fire in Massachusetts in this past year. So while our children are vulnerable, we found that over the past year, the problem has been with our elderly now. So there have been a rise or spike in the deaths of elderly who might perish in fires. And so we will probably bolster up our efforts to actually look into how we can address that issue and focus on our elderly. The two most cherished portions of our population are our children and our elderly. So again, I want to thank you. I thank the third grade team, as I have for many times before. They're a wonderful group to work with. And we always have a group of wonderful children in the SAFE program as well. You're in capable hands. Lieutenant McCollum's doing a fine job. And we look to the future in creating more safety.